So we just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to hop on here and make a quick update video answering a bunch of your questions that I think are noteworthy to put in a video, as well as just talk about where this channel is going in 2020, or anywhere for that matter. I'm deleting the channel, guys. No, I'm not. This video might be uploaded slightly later than when I'm filming it because I want to go ahead and finish up the Blender series before posting this video. But hopefully I can at least get out by the end of the year. Before I go any further, thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. When I didn't even think that was even like, okay, I thought it was possible. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, I can't believe it. I mean, it's not like it just happened overnight. It took a lot of work, but it does feel nice. So thanks. Over the last year and like a half, I've been working on a short film, and specifically in the last couple months, I've been really grinding away, trying to finish it up, and I just wrapped it this past weekend. So that means I will hopefully have a lot more time to make YouTube videos next year, until I come up with another short film idea, in which case you may not see me for a long time. It's always a constant struggle figuring out how to balance my other film projects with YouTube, and I'm trying to figure out how I can sort of combine those a little bit. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, enough of me yapping. I just wanted to go ahead and go through a bunch of comments that I've picked out over the last year to go ahead and answer on video. I like to think I'm pretty good at answering comments, especially when they're questions that I can actually answer and they're not just like, good job, which I really do appreciate those comments, but I usually try to reply to the ones that actually have legitimate questions where I can actually help someone. So I went ahead and went through a bunch of comments and found ones that I thought would be noteworthy enough to put in a video and have a slightly longer response to. So let's go ahead and get started. The first comment is on the video about a $200 camera that can shoot raw video, which you can see right here. Sarthak Rana, just don't even expect me to pronounce any names properly in this video, says, I just want to know that if a camera gets bricked due to a custom OS, then is it fixable? Because I really want to use Magic Lantern, but I'm too scared to install it. That's a pretty common question from people when they're first learning about Magic Lantern. The truth is, I think it's fairly reliable. Most of the OS is all on the SD card. It doesn't really mess much with your firmware of the actual camera itself. And actually, once you put in another SD card, you literally can't even tell you ever had Magic Lantern on your camera. But if for some reason it does get messed up, you can always just plug it into your computer and then download the latest firmware for your camera and reflash it, and that should fix any problems. But I personally have never had any problems with Magic Lantern, and I think a lot of people have had the same experience, so I'd say it's a pretty safe bet. Pratik Mohidi asks, are you planning to create more tutorials in Blender? I'm not too sure. I really enjoy working with Blender and it's really fun, but I didn't realize how hard it would be to make a whole tutorial series, especially on something as complicated as visual effects. So to answer your question, I'd like to, and if I come up with any good ideas, I probably will do it, but probably not for a long time, because honestly, I am sick and tired of doing Blender tutorials. AAA Rights directory /etc/SMBA does not exist. You sure about that? On the same video, Xavier Khan writes, how do you solve connect network is unreachable? That's a pretty common error, but it can be caused by a lot of different things. First thing to check is make sure your network files are set up properly, meaning that make sure you've typed in the right password and SSID for your network. If that doesn't work, go ahead and look at configuring your IP address. You may have screwed something up with the DHCP lease, so I would check both those two things. If nothing else works, and if that doesn't fix it, just try to redo the install, and sometimes that can fix it. Also on the video about shooting raw, David Mouser writes, the weird dots are a known issue and someone created a small app to correct it in post. I can't remember the name, though D-Dotter or something. The issue just affects a few Canon cameras, mine included. Best to search for pink dots Magic Lantern, should find it if it's still around. I actually remember this comment. I searched for that a long time and I couldn't find anything. If you don't know, this is about a problem that Magic Lantern has with extremely blown out highlights. It gets this weird red dot issue. I talked about it in that video and I haven't really found a fix for it. I couldn't find any application that did anything like that. Unfortunately, I found lots of repairing MLV files, but nothing that actually removed those dots. But personally, I got around it just by not overexposing that much. You can recover 1 to 2 stops. Once you get into like 3 or 4 or 5 stops of dynamic range, RAW is not gonna fix that. At least Magic Lantern RAW won't. Here's a question on my video about 3D printed anamorphic lens filters. Penjahati Gaming asks, hey there, I enjoyed your video and wanted to make this anamorphic filter for 49mm filter size. Can you create a tutorial on how to edit the Fusion 360 file? Yes, that's actually a really good idea. I will do that When? That's a whole nother question, but it is coming. X Rupert says, he's a clicky. Yes, I am. Josh the Nerd asks, what camera do you use? I use the Canon T4i, but I'm really hoping to get a Blackmagic Pocket 4K soon. But I've used the Canon T4i for a long time, and it served me quite well, and I think it's a great beginner camera. And with Magic Lantern, like I said, you can do a whole lot of more things with it than you'd think. Vegeta XYZ on the anamorphic lens video asks, hey, if I sent my lens size, would you be able to print me one? Yeah, that's the thing. Just your lens diameter isn't really enough information to make a proper anamorphic lens filter. It's really just a more trial and error thing because every lens, the optics are set up a bit differently. To really do it, you kind of have to print one out, test it, and make it bigger or smaller depending on your need. That's why it's much more of an iterative design process, so sorry, I can't really help you there. If you really wanted to though, and you for some reason don't have a 3D printer, you could always like create a document with the cutout size and put it in like, print it on cardstock and literally just cut it out and put it in front of your lens. I'm sure that would work probably just as well. Wouldn't be nearly as sturdy, but as a backup jank option, you could try it. And then you could always change it, reprint it, cut it out again, test it, and continue that until you get something that works. That would be my suggestion. Or buy a 3D printer. They're really fun. 13 Chuck says, you should make more videos with your guitars. That's actually a really good idea. I really like playing guitar. I'm just not really sure what type of video I would make with it. I've thought about doing a couple covers and stuff like that, but right now not really any ideas are really popping out at me. So if I come up with an idea, I definitely will. Running asks, what video editing software do you use? Do you know of any other cheaper editing softwares? I use Final Cut Pro 10 as my main editor, but I also use DaVinci Resolve for color grading sometimes, and Blender for visual effects. So I use a lot of different programs. As far as any good cheap editing softwares, I highly recommend DaVinci Resolve free. That's amazing, and I think if you're going into feature filmmaking, that's basically just going to film school in and of itself. Just learning that software is extremely useful. And also, if you're really into visual effects, well, DaVinci Resolve has Fusion built into it, so you can do a lot of visual effects. But HitFilm Express is another great option for learning layer-based visual compositing. So either of those is great. On my tutorial of installing Linux on an old MacBook to speed it up, Joel Monterio asks, do you have any trouble with that installation? I tried Ubuntu 17.10 Mint X Ubuntu, and they all freeze and shut down quite frequently. Boot times are also very long, about 5 minutes. What I would suggest is going to an older version of Ubuntu. I couldn't get Ubuntu anything later than Ubuntu 16 to work, so I tried going back to an older version that seemed to fix it for me, but that could be caused by a million different things, so I don't really have any suggestions for you. But going back to an older version, at least try that. Just try a lot of different Ubuntu versions and see if any of them happen to be more stable than the others. Okay, that is about it. If you have any more questions for me, leave them down in the comments and I will try to answer them. Also, if you have any ideas for what I should make in 2020, let me know. I have a couple different videos in the works that I'm sort of planning, a couple new styles of videos, so that should be interesting. So subscribe, hit the bell, do all those things, and I will see you guys next time I make a video, because honestly, it's very erratic at this point. I'm Josiah, thanks for watching. I've got a shower curtain for my main light source. Embrace the jank.